When articles like this come out, that there's negative GDP growth, and then shortly after, we've only created 62,000 jobs, and I got both of them on the screen right now, then you know that we are cooked in the United States. So let's look at this a little bit. Here we go. US GDP growth turns in negative in Q1 of 2025. So bad news. And let me know if you see something up here that is not right. And this is from a Google search when you type in how many jobs have been created last month. So when you look at how many jobs have been created, they're saying that there's right now about 62,000 jobs been created, and this is through surveys, all kinds of other stuff that we've had. And then when you're looking at all this information, you're looking at we've only created 62,000 jobs. They were estimating like 140, 150,000 jobs created. And whenever we see these reports, they most of the time always adjust them downwards, not upwards. So most likely they will adjust that downwards as time progresses. So what does that mean? That means that there's less people willing to hire Americans, that there's way less companies looking for American people to fulfill their needs. And then we got comments like this saying that, hey, from my last video that I did about the UPS layoff, that they're laying off 20,000 people, 4% is no big deal. Videos like this make one drive the perception of a downturn. Reality does not correlate with YouTube views. Like this one, keep pumping. I love myself. Items marked down all right. So the problem is when I make these videos and I say, hey, there's 20,000 people getting laid off at UPS, I forgot to mention that if this is an isolated incident and it's just UPS doing layoffs and they just said, oh, we mismanaged, we did this, tough luck, shit happens. But most of the times it's just not one industry, one company, it's one industry that does layoffs. So I looked at their competitors. DHL, one competitor. German postal giant DHL cuts 8,000 jobs. FedEx also is cutting jobs. I looked and I did a little bit of research about FedEx, and FedEx has laid off about 22,000 employees globally over the past year as parts of ongoing restructuring. Significant reduction in primary driven by its economies, Network 2.0 plan. In the United States, FedEx has issued multiple warrant acts, so they're going to let people off. So they let the state know, hey, we're going to file a warrant act, so they're going to let go a bunch of people in the states. Here we go. Adjustment in retail notification and warrant act across various states, including Tennessee, California, Kansas, North Carolina. These notices indicate facilities closure and workforce reduction. So all of a sudden, you have all these companies doing layoffs. It's an industry-wide phenomenon. And when people say, oh, this is nothing, this is 4%. This is 4% of one company. And now we're seeing another 4% of another company, and all of a sudden it's 10 to 15% of the whole global market. Because if UPS isn't doing great, and UPS isn't really delivering, and FedEx isn't delivering either, all of a sudden smaller carriers across the world are most likely also not delivering. So the whole market is getting smaller. And what does that mean? That means that companies that provides goods and services to these companies also have to dial back. And when you're in an environment like that and you have trucks, you have warehouses, those warehouses need to be cooled, they need to be serviced, they need to be maintained, and they have landscapers, they have all these other things, and they have maybe catering, they have parties, they have all kinds of other stuff going on, and that results into Americans providing services to these businesses. Now, if you're closing the facility, if you close shipping routes, you do all that, that's gonna let gas people, independent gas station owners, that's gonna let a whole bunch of other people be jobless. That's gonna cut into mom and pop shops that were catering to truck drivers, that were providing snacks and meals to workers that were at the warehouse, and all of a sudden you see that, hey, this 4% layoff has now been into 15% or more, because it always has this little trickle effect where it affects all around you. And I always talk about Virginia, I talk about coal country, and I look at sometimes these people that go on YouTube, and you can probably find them real quick, where you say, hey, type into YouTube and say Virginia coal country, and you can see these towns where the coal miners basically did their thing, and then the company closed, and it was the biggest provider in the area, and all of a sudden now it's just a ghost town, and it's abandoned, and you can drive through it, and it just looks absolutely crazy. And when all these big companies say we're going to do workforce reduction, that means that people are going to lose out on revenue, people are going to lose out on the job. I know you probably don't care, because you're probably not in the industry and you're not driving for a living. But I do have a bunch of Americans that watch my stuff for truck driving, and they've reached out to me and said, when there's more truck drivers and more people willing to take routes, it's supply and demand. That means that their price that they're getting paid by the miles is going down. And then all of a sudden, when you have less money per mile, you make less money. So that means you got to either drive more, but there's limits on how much you can drive. And then all of a sudden, you're going to be in more trouble, because you don't have the money coming in to support your family, to be on the road. And then you're going to be just driving more, being gone more, burnout, all these other things. And one thing that people never say is the psychological thing that does on you. When you have a job and your field's going to be competitive, and truck drivers are not making that much, and there's one job listing and there's hundreds of applications, all of a sudden, what does that do? If you're a for-profit business, and every business for profit, they're going to say, we can get away with paying less, or we can get away with doing paying less, and or offering less benefits to these new drivers, because they need to pay their family, or they need to pay for the living and families and all that kind of other stuff. It's just a natural cause of having a lot of people in the job market searching and not a lot of availability. A few years ago, during the Great Resignation, they had to give signing bonuses. They have to give all kinds of other incentives for people to apply. Now it's the complete opposite, where you just got to be happy to have a job. And I know some of you guys are just saying in the comment section, oh, this has been a long time coming and all this other stuff. But when I look at the reality of where we're at today, is I've seen it coming miles away, because we're looking at spending on credit cards, financing groceries, doing all kinds of stuff that we actually do not have money for. And then we're always like, oh, let's have the government bail us out or do all this other stuff. And as you know, the government only bails out big corporations, and those people that actually spend money in lobbying, those are the ones that are going to get bailed out. Everybody else is going to be left hang out to dry. And so in my videos, I always try to say, hey, if you're in a situation like that, and that's how I kind of always end my videos, so it's always important to kind of watch it till the end, is you got to make yourself resilient to it. You got to increase your market value. You got to network. You got to make other sources of income. Do vlogging or do something else, what you can do. And hey, this is the life of truck driving, or this is what I do here, or other kinds of stuff where you can actually make some money when you're out and about, so you can actually increase your income. So if something does happen, you're not going to be scrambling to then trying to turn on something or do the entrepreneurship thing right away. You've been having a side gig or something else. So if something does happen to you, you're good, and you can be like, you know what, that's okay. Because as an entrepreneur, and as somebody that's, that has their own business, it's always crucial that you have backup plans, so you can turn on other faucets of revenue if one of them dries up. And it is easier said than done, I tell you that, because running a business is headaches, customer complaints, employee complaints, all this other stuff. But it's good to know when you're in it, that's like, hey, I have different sources that I can turn on. You can do all kinds of stuff now. You can do DoorDash, you can do, no, actually that's not right. You cannot do DoorDash. I saw this.
The job market in 2025 has gotten so bad that I tried to sign up as a DoorDash driver yesterday and they said no. They said, sorry, we have too many people in your area. And I said, it's Los Angeles. It is a big area. And they said, no, too many. Okay, I guess I'll just go back to looking for Waymos to run me over.
I saw this creator that in LA that got denied to do DoorDash because they've already got so many DoorDash drivers in LA. So you can't do DoorDash. So these easy money grab opportunities are kind of done. You cannot do these easy drive for Uber, do DoorDash when as your backup plan, because I just saw the video, and let me see if I can find it. If I find it, I'm gonna pause it and you can watch it. So when you see that, hey, DoorDash and everybody else isn't even letting me drive in LA where there's so many people, you should probably be like, I need some sort of exit strategy. I need some sort of supplemental income. I need to be dog walking. I need to be house sitting. I need to be doing all these other things that can make me something. Doesn't have to be a lot, but that can just bolster my savings account, that can bolster my checking account, that I can do. So if something does happen, I have like a rainy day fund. I don't have to worry about all these stressful things that comes with being laid off. Because when you're getting laid off in the United States, completely different from Switzerland. In Switzerland, when I got laid off, they pay you 80% of your salary for 2 years, up to $12,000 a month. And here it is $350 a week for like 26 weeks. And in Switzerland, it's way, way different. And so I can understand why here tensions run really, really high, really quick when that unemployment runs out. And just to fill out unemployment and to qualify for unemployment is absolutely brutal. Just the amount of pain you have to go through and go to the office, or in Nevada at least, when you get unemployed, you got to call somebody, or you got to go to here. Then they only have one in Carson City. And in Florida, they say the website is absolutely trash, or it crashes on you. And so they don't want you to get it. It's not in their best interest to make it easy accessible to people. So you have to be your own driver in your own destiny and kind of know, hey, where's the market going? Is this a problem that I have that might happen to me, or no? And if I do have a problem that, hey, I might be getting laid off, start networking, start talking to other truck drivers on the road and say, hey, what's your company like? Are they hiring senior drivers? Are they hiring for short routes, home every day? Are they hiring long haul truckers or whatever it is? And make sure that you get a card or something like, hey, what's your boss's name? Or maybe network, right? Maybe I can check your company out or something. And once they do, and hey, what do they pay a mile? Or what's the benefits package include? So you can then say, hey, if something does happen, you can kind of call and check and make sure that you're gonna get another job ASAP, so you don't have a huge gap. Because when I look at these gaps that people have, it costs you so much money from your future self. So if you're unemployed for 3-4 months, it costs you a huge amount of future gain. So if you're gonna be job searching for 4 years and you're losing out for 3 to 4 months, for 3 to 4 months, you're looking at job searching for 3 to 4 months. That's 4 grand times 3, 4, that's 12, $10,000 gross. That's gonna take you a year or two to make that up after you caught on again. So let this be a lesson. Network, get yourself out there. Nothing ever bad happens when you start posting on LinkedIn and networking, getting out there, making connections, and start making sure that you have a good future for your kids, rather than just going with the wind, and however the wind blows is how you kind of end up. Make a plan, try to see how it goes, and Hopefully you won't get you're not going to get laid off, but it's better to have insurance in place than it is to just get stranded and been hung out to dry, because it can happen to anybody. So check this out. Today is a gorgeous day in Las Vegas. This is absolutely gorgeous park that I walk in. They keep it up really, really nice. So it's a nice day. Cold front's coming though. So if you haven't, please like and subscribe. Let me know what you see in the market. Is this something that's a yes, no, maybe? And what do you do to prevent it? And I appreciate you guys coming on my 15-minute walk with me. And I'll see you guys in the next one.